So you are on the market searching for the Inmotion V11 and you heard about all the big issues with hollow motors. I'm going to talk a little bit more because I've been using this wheel for more than 1 year. Why I decided to install these covers to protect your bearings. Is it easy to install? Is it worth it to install? And also, how do I install and which materials to print? All those questions that you can have that I used to have before I've done this to my wheel. If you want to know everything about it, stay tuned until the end of the video. Hi everyone, Marcus here from MADpack, and if you love EUCs, PVs and everything that have a E of electricity, this is the place for you. And today we are going to talk a little bit more about the Inmotion V11 and about the hollow motor and the bearings and why I decided after more than 1 year to do this hack. And before I explain to you about how to install this one and which is the materials that you should use, I want to tell you my experience. So I have the Inmotion V11 since the beginning. My wheel is the first batch. The bearings now, they've been already improved. There is already 3 batch different with different bearings. And the first one, I never really had an issue. But when I disassemble all the wheel and I clean with some spray dust and I start rotating, I could hear some noise on the inside. So the bearings, they were already compromised, and in that moment I decided that it was not worth it to install that motor in those conditions. So I contacted Inmotion and they sent me a new motor. And here I have the new motor already installed. This is the second video of a series of 3 or 4 videos that I'm going to do about the V11, depends how much you guys like this. I changed a tire, I've done these covers, and I've been riding it for the last 500 kilometers. I have to say to you guys that is not an easy task. To reach the motor, it's a lot of work. And by the way, if you have to disassemble any wheel that you have, I definitely recommend you to have good tools. I have tried different brands. The one that I prefer and is not sponsored is Vera, so definitely I'll leave in the description below the tools that I use from them, but I'll definitely recommend you to buy good tools from Vera because you will need them and they will make your life much easier. Before you even start trying this, I want just to tell you that there is one thing that could be a big issue. Reaching the motor, it's a lot of hard work, but it's not so hard. If you think about it, everything comes apart very easily. But when you try to take out that cage where the suspension goes, it's definitely not the best experience. It's really hard because of the product or whatever they put there for the screws to don't get loose. So just bear that in mind. When you'll start doing this, you'll definitely need some thread lock glue because you'll need to reattach them. So this is what I used on those screws, but it's just to point it out this before you even try. So the first thing that you need to use is a spray dust to take all that dust and all the things that you have on the top. I'll recommend to use first the spray dust and after using a towel, because you can force the dust to go inside, and with the spray it's better because they will come off much easier. After that, you will need some marine grease. I decided to go for marine grease white. You have even transparent, but I decided to go to the white because it's more visible to do this video for you guys. And also, this is a good brand, so when you decide to purchase, you have many different brands, but the one that I'm using is the Granville Marine White Grease. So in that way, even if the water tries to go there, it never gets dry, and that's one of the things that you need, because you don't want that this gets dry next to your bearings. You want that to continue to flow and to rotate. So definitely use a lot of this to cover all of that. After, you're going to pass with your finger on top of it, and it's going to basically cover all the corners. You press really hard so it starts to come out the majority of the marine grease, and it will stay there just the amount that you need. After, obviously, all around you need to remove. I use some paper, and you are going to remove until it's completely clean. After that, you need to pick your bearing covers or bearing seal as you want, and you are going to put more marine grease around the edges, and in that way is where you're going to feel more friction between obviously your hack and your bearings. After you press this really hard, you're going to see some grease coming out from the sides. You clean once again, and after we'll pass to this part here. So before you put your spacer, you need to also clean very well all the metal on the inside, okay, because it's going to be there and you don't want to have a lot of movement on your spacer. And another thing that Vasily recommended me to do is to put some glue on the inside, and this side here that you have these parts coming out is the one that is going to be pointing up, not in direction to your sealing, and in that way after you are going to put some glue all around to make it stuck in place and not have any movement. When we look to this part that is very flexible, as you can see, this part is going to point down in the opposite direction as the cage for your suspension. After that you put obviously all this glue and you install the spacer. I would recommend you to put once again a little bit more glue on the inside just to give even more strength, to don't have any loose parts moving on the spacer. Another thing that maybe in the future I can try when this will come apart is to try to put a spacer, but making the spacer in metal, because in that way I think is going to be even better and more resistant. The last thing that you need to do is to put this thread locker blue glue on your screws, the screws that goes with the cage where is going to be the suspension, and I recommend you to use this in every single screw on your wheel. When you are just disassemble, you put a bit, and in that way you will not have any corrosion on those screws and they will get tight all the time. Before I just tell you what is my thoughts about this material, TPE on this one, so on your sealing, and is this flexible material, and on your spacer PLA, okay? Don't try to use different ones because they are going to break. By the way, you have two different sizes of bearing protections. You have the 6.8/16 and 6.9/16. Which one you should use? 6.8/16 if you have a first batch. If you don't have a first batch, you should use the 6.9/16. I hope that this helped. Let's continue the video. But now is my last thoughts about this hack, if it's really worth it. And I've done this for the purpose of this video for you guys. I don't need to do on my wheel, because if this happens or this motor gets damaged, I just contact Inmotion and Inmotion will send me another one. But I thought that this is important and is relevant for you guys on the other side. You will not be able after warranty to receive a new motor. I want to leave my wheels as you can leave your wheels, in the most realistic way. And I will definitely do this, even if I know that this is not a permanent solution. So if you can print the spacer in metal, I think this is the part that really can come apart, because this is what makes it maintain in place, and this one is just going to be covering like the rubber that you have on your bearings. If this comes apart next time, I will try to find a company that can print me this in metal, swap it and put it in there. That is the only thing. But as a user, I can say to you guys that when I went to Scotland with my wife, I was really concerned if this is going to come apart when I'm in there. So you will have that in your mind constantly. Until today, no issue. Like I said, 500k is going perfectly fine. When it's raining or it's snow, I'm not constantly with that thought that my bearings are going to get damaged. So that is also the other side. So you prefer to know that this comes apart and you just have to print a new one and obviously disassemble all your wheel to change it, or knowing that your motor have to be, because just to swap the bearings is like a nightmare. It's up to you to decide which one is the best solution for you. But my name is Marco, this is MADpack. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment below, smash the thumbs up, do whatever you want, but always with a smile on your face, and I hope to see you in the next one.